What if productivity has nothing to do with the number of tasks you complete at work? What if, instead, productivity is the ability to figure out which tasks are most likely to yield good results? In Extreme Productivity, financial executive and author Robert Pozen shares the tactics and tricks he has used to balance his numerous professional obligations with his personal life. By carefully examining their aspirations and the needs of their employer, Pozen asserts any workers can decide which of their daily tasks should be prioritized. They can then learn how to effectively structure their day so that the most important work is completed quickly and efficiently. Workers are most efficient when they learn how to balance their professional goals with their employer's preferences. Learning how to complete tasks efficiently will also help a worker spend less time in the office and more time with family and friends. It's not uncommon for businesses and supervisors to conflate an employee's productivity and effectiveness with the number of hours spent in the office. Some seem to believe that physical presence for a minimum of 8 hours is of utmost importance if vital work is to be completed. However, once someone is taught how to properly prioritize daily tasks, a full workday is rarely necessary. Workers should be valued based on their effectiveness, rather than on the amount of time they spend completing a task. Learning how to be more productive can help some workers become able to complete their assignments quickly and correctly, and without requiring the usual hours that such tasks take up. When learning how to be more productive, the most important skill a worker can develop is the ability to identify and prioritize actions which will lead to the accomplishment of long-term goals. Workers should decide which tasks to pursue each day by examining what they most want to accomplish, what talents they bring to the organization, and what their employers most need from them at the present moment. There are 4 steps to learning how to prioritize potential tasks. 1. Start by listing all existing responsibilities and aspirations, as well as the tasks and goals that immediate supervisors may have assigned. Figure out whether each task will take 5 or more years, between 3 months and 2 years, or a week or less. The tasks that take more than 5 years are career goals. The tasks that take up to 2 years are objectives, and the ones that take a week or less are targets. 2. Come up with at least 2 targets for each objective, and at least 1 objective for each goal. Estimate the time they will take to complete and rank their importance. Take into consideration personal aspirations as well as the company's expectations when calculating the ranking for each target task. 3. Examine how the workday is presently being used, and revise the schedule to more closely align with long-term aspirations and career values. 4. Arrange a schedule which includes the day's targets, along with a note explaining how important each given target is to complete. Examining each day's tasks and ranking them by importance might seem like a tedious chore, but the hours that can be won back far outweigh the initial effort a worker will expend learning how to identify and prioritize effective actions. With consistent dedication to high-priority tasks, and by learning how to quickly and effectively tackle low-priority chores, anyone can learn how to get through the workday without feeling the need to stay late or take work home. Professional paths cannot be perfectly planned at the outset of a career. 8. Productive workers maintain a balance between professional and personal obligations. Analysis. Key Insight 1. Most professionals only spend half of their workday on priority tasks. Ideally, all professionals should take the time to decide how well upcoming tasks will advance their priorities. However, busy professionals seldom analyze whether their daily obligations move them closer to long-term goals. If they are not in the habit of examining whether their tasks align with their goals, they likely are also unaware of how they spend their working hours on a daily basis. Failure to scrutinize one's efforts, coupled with a lack of a tailored schedule, can cause a professional to waste up to half of the day attending to immediate but ultimately inconsequential concerns. Employees should minimize the amount of time they spend on assigned targets or on any task that doesn't further their objectives and career goals. To get a better sense of how they manage time, professionals could record how they spend an average day. They could then create a list of career goals, objectives, and targets that align with their and their employer's priorities, and decide whether their daily activities align with stated priorities. Activities that distract from greater objectives or that have nothing to do with ongoing goals should be excised from the professional schedule. Key Insight 2. Extensive research might seem productive, but it often leads to procrastination. Some professionals start a project by attempting to compile all the available information about the given goal. While this may seem like an effective strategy, meticulously researching a potential topic is usually a waste of time and can easily increase the urge to procrastinate. Instead, a list of preliminary conclusions or parameters to guide the research is a crucial step toward expediting that phase of a project. For example, if a manager wants his employees to spearhead renovations of the company's offices, it would be fruitless to start by compiling a list of the available interior designers in the area. Instead, employees should ask their supervisor what type of redesign the boss has in mind, what the budget constraints are, and what other complications should be taken into consideration before they begin planning the redecoration. By formulating a plan and acting quickly, an employee can ensure that projects are accomplished on schedule rather than drawn out over an extended period of time. Managers and their subordinates should not be afraid to make changes to a plan partway through its implementation. In fact, one of the advantages of formulating a potential plan and putting it into action early is that workers are able to test out revisions before the final product is due. In ideal situations, prototypes can be created, allowing customers to provide feedback on a company's future offerings. After employees and their boss formulate an initial plan for tackling a project, the employees should check in with the boss periodically to make sure that no revisions or adjustments are needed. Those progress reports will improve the employee's relationship with the boss by increasing the amount of trust the boss has in them. Key Insight 3. Daily tasks can easily distract or prevent a worker from completing more critical goals. For average employees and executives alike, it can be easy to let long-term goals slip away while attending to daily demands. Requests from superiors and coworkers, along with the urge to answer emails and attend to immediate distractions, can eat away at the workday and prevent a professional from making significant progress on high-priority goals. Professionals should learn how to evaluate how important a routine task is, and then limit the amount of time they spend on time-wasting activities, like emailing and attending meetings. One way to cut down on demands of quick tasks at work is to address small matters the moment they come up. For example, if a professional woman receives an invitation to speak at a convention, she should quickly decide whether she wants to attend. If she does, she should check her calendar, find out if she has the time, book a flight and rental car as needed, and note the new activity in her schedule. If she doesn't want to speak at the event, she should decline and move on. The same technique can be used when deciding whether to respond to an email or to return a call. Unless professionals have completed all target activities related to their career goals and objectives, they should refuse to entertain the vast majority of everyday office distractions. Key Insight 4. Schedules should include routine breaks. Some professionals feel the need to book meetings, tasks, and appointments for every hour of the workday. But creating a crammed schedule won't lead to more productivity. In fact, an overbooked professional is likely to be less effective in the long run. Ideally, a professional schedule should include routine breaks. Using 2 spaced-out 30-minute breaks to relax, take stock of the day's events, and think will help workers refresh their energy and capacity for creative thought. If an employer can be convinced that more frequent breaks will increase employee productivity, it might be worth presenting more information about the benefits of short midday naps. Taking breaks is crucial for employee efficiency, but taking 20-minute naps is an even more effective way to restore workers' energy and ability to quickly address challenges. Some businesses may even consider setting aside a place in the office where workers can doze off for a few minutes. By building rest and relaxation into the workday, employees will find it easier to meet their long-term goals. Key Insight 5. Written agendas and summary materials can make meetings more useful. Meetings are notorious causes of wasted time for businesses and other professional organizations. Often, meetings are unproductive because they are poorly planned and badly led. Those in charge of the meeting have not fully thought through its purpose or briefed the attendees on the main objectives that should be addressed during that time slot. To increase the usefulness of meetings, executives and other leaders should consider creating an agenda that outlines what will be discussed. Supplementary materials and other documents summarizing the key points should also be distributed before the appointed time. Sending out preparatory materials ahead of time will prevent meetings from becoming boring by reducing the amount of time leaders have to spend explaining basic information. If an organization prepares a written agenda and supplementary materials before meetings, then executives can more seamlessly transition into the discussion portion of the meeting. The leader of the meeting can go over a brief synopsis of the topic at hand, then turn the meeting over to the attendees so they can debate the best solutions for whatever challenges they are addressing. Key Insight 6. Outlines improve speeches and written materials. Writing a comprehensive document for work or drafting a professional speech requires different skills than the ones an employee might use to close a deal. One way that professionals can improve their writing quickly is to create outlines before starting their first drafts. Outlines allow professionals to create a blueprint for a document or speech so that they can refer back to their primary objectives and create more effective arguments. When creating an outline for a written work or a speech, writers or speakers should first brainstorm the relevant subject and jot down all the ideas that come to mind. Next, writers or speakers should organize ideas into categories so that they can more easily be examined. Finally, they should create an outline using the ideas which will most resonate with the audience. They can experiment with the order in which they present ideas and pick whichever order best conveys their meaning. The finalized speech should include a heartwarming or humanizing introduction and a gripping conclusion. Key Insight 7. Professional paths cannot be perfectly planned at the outset of a career. Inexperienced professionals often feel like they need to map their entire career trajectory perfectly from a young age if they hope to be successful. This urge is understandable, but ultimately impossible. No one can predict exactly how work experiences will shape future opportunities, or what unexpected career paths may be offered simply for being in the right place at the right time. Instead of attempting to predict the future, it's better for aspiring young professionals to examine what types of jobs they might be interested in, and to formulate a set of potential careers and positions they would like to work toward. When deciding whether a new job would help or hurt future prospects, employees should examine whether the new position would move them closer or further away from long-term career goals. They should then decide whether the job is in demand among other companies, and whether the skills they will learn on the job will help them in the long run. Their goal should be to increase the overall number of future career opportunities they may have. Working for a variety of businesses, such as private companies, government entities, and nonprofits, may also help professionals increase the number of jobs they are offered. Pursuing secondary education or additional training can help young professionals increase their future career options as well. Key Insight 8. Productive workers maintain a balance between professional and personal obligations. Unless professionals are willing to dedicate their entire life to work, it's imperative that they learn how to set aside their career when they are at home. For example, if a man's mind is constantly at the office when he's at home, then his spouse and children will quickly tire of his scattered attention and lack of affection. Constantly bringing work home and missing family milestones to meet a boss's demands are quick ways to decrease family unity and ultimately diminish one's ability to enjoy life outside of the office. Ideally, workers should look for employers who understand the value of personal time and who are willing to be flexible about how employees meet the demands of the job. Bosses who are willing to let workers off a couple hours early occasionally, or who are willing to reschedule meetings to accommodate their employees' personal needs, will be more likely to retain highly productive workers in the long run. Important people. Robert Pozen is an American financial expert who has served as chairman for asset management company MFS Investment Management and as vice chairman of Fidelity Investments. His previous works include Too Big to Save and The Fund Industry. Author's style. In Extreme Productivity, Robert Pozen describes how to complete a number of practical tasks that most professionals encounter during their careers, like creating clearly written documents or learning how to quickly distill key information. His book is a demonstration of how to apply much of that everyday advice. In keeping with his preference for simplistic prose, Pozen's writing is simple and to the point. Headings are provided throughout, so readers can better understand the crux arguments of a given section, and each chapter ends with a bullet point list of the key ideas raised in that segment. Pozen also includes a number of exercises that readers can use to improve their ability to correctly prioritize tasks and create schedules. Extreme Productivity was originally created after editors at Harvard Business Review asked about Pozen's consistent ability to achieve his goals. Since Pozen's personal habits generated the initial interest that led to his book's publication, Pozen frequently mines his own work for case studies. He uses an adapted version of an article he wrote for Harvard Business Review to help readers practice reading comprehension and effective summarization, and includes a speech he delivered in Boston as an example of a well-crafted public address. Extreme Productivity has 14 chapters divided into 5 parts, an introduction and an epilogue. Author's perspective. In Extreme Productivity, Robert Pozen stresses that the techniques he outlines in his book can be used by any professionals, no matter their industry or place of employment. However, the majority of his book is addressed to employees who are working in white-collar jobs. Although entrepreneurial work and other forms of employment are not addressed at length in Extreme Productivity, Pozen's system for prioritizing tasks could be adapted to any set of job requirements. During his career, Pozen served simultaneously as chairman for an asset management company, MFS Investment Management, and as a business professor at Harvard University. The book outlines a number of strategies that Pozen has used to advance in the professional world at different stages of his life, as well as his system for outlining and pursuing future goals and objectives. Throughout Extreme Productivity, Pozen stresses that workers should be looking for opportunities to move up in the workplace and tackle new challenges. However, he doesn't believe that the amount of time and energy someone expends at work should eclipse their ability to relax or meet obligations outside of the office. In multiple chapters, Pozen mentions how important it is in his own life to make it home in time for dinner with his family. He encourages readers to get enough sleep and to prioritize exercise, and he argues that mentally separating work life and home life should be a top priority so that they can retain their productive edge. While Pozen believes that his productivity methods could help workers accomplish more, his hope is that his tips will actually help readers spend less overall time at work. By teaching his audience how to manage their efforts more effectively and produce more results, Pozen aims to help his readers win back hours of time that could otherwise be used to lead a satisfying, productive life.